You guys know one of my least favorite things is when politicians treat the public like they're stupid. And it happens way too often. And we have what I have to believe is one of the worst examples of that. So, and it comes from Karine Pierre, the White House press secretary. And honestly, I think this was the moment that the White House press corps turned on the Biden administration. I'll show you why in a sec. So, as you guys know, there was a Congresswoman who was killed in a car accident this summer, Jackie Walorski. And, at the time, the Biden administration put something out. I mean, it was, it's not like it was a secret that she died in this awful accident. So President Biden was at an event when he kind of called out for her, wondering if she was in the room.
Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this a reality.
Now, Biden is old. He's 79 years old. We know that Biden has some mental lapses at times, searches for words, struggles to know where he is, which, and we'll get to this, which I do think is a legitimate thing for the media to ask about. When it's the president of the United States and you have something like that happening with increased frequency, there are questions about what that makes the United States look like on the national stage, on the worldwide stage, rather, and also about his fitness to continue to do the job. But, that aside, I could forgive politicians for having a mental lapse from time to time, or misspeaking from time to time. I misspeak from time to time. Not as much, I don't think, as the president, but again, we'll get to that in a moment. So had the White House come out immediately and been like, the president apologizes for this, obviously it was an error, then I would have a lot more forgiveness for the president. I mean, and frankly, he should have apologized, because that was probably, now it's gone viral, it's on the news, it's probably very disturbing for the Congresswoman's family, hearing the president of the United States call out for her when she has passed away. So any self-respecting president would be like, oh gosh, we need to apologize for that, or his staff would tell him we need to issue an apology for that. Oh, no, not the Biden administration. Karine Pierre has her White House press briefing and is asked about this. And not by Peter Doocy, trying to score political points or whatever they accuse Peter Doocy of doing. She was asked about it by ABC News. And when Karine Pierre failed to directly answer the question from ABC News and gave a complete bullshit answer, Politico, I believe it was, followed up to the question from ABC News. Watch the exchange.
The president appeared to look around the room for an audience member, a member of Congress who passed away last month. He seemed to indicate she might be in the room. What happened?
So the president was, as you all know, you guys were watching today's event, a very important event on food insecurity. The president was naming the congressional champions on this issue and was acknowledging her incredible work. He had already planned to welcome the Congresswoman's family to the White House on Friday. There will be a bill signing in her honor this coming Friday. So, of course, she was on his mind. She was of top of mind for the president. He very much looks forward to discussing her remarkable legacy of public service with them when he sees her family this coming Friday.
He said, Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? She must not be here.
No, I totally understand. I just explained she was on top of mind. This wasn't what we were able to witness today, and what the president was able to lift up in this at this conference, at this event, was how her focus on wanting to combat food insecurity in America. And this is something that he was lifting up and honoring. And again, he knows that he's going to see her family this coming Friday. There's a bill signing that's going to happen in renaming a VA clinic in Indiana after the late Congresswoman. He knows that he is going to see her family, and she was at top of mind.
If the late Congresswoman was top of mind for the president and her family was expected to be here, and that's what he was thinking about, why was he looking for her? I'm not trying to be snarky here.
No, I mean, and I'm...
Between what you're saying and what he said there.
And again, I think people can understand. I think the American people out there who, watch the briefing from time to time, maybe at this moment, will understand when someone is at top of mind. Again, I don't think it's all that unusual. to have someone top of mind, especially as there's a big event, two big events today and also Friday that is going to occur. And so he's going to see her family. They're going to honor her. They're going to celebrate her, and he will do a bill signing for this really critical, let's not forget, this critical, important issue for millions and millions of Americans across the country.
Sorry to have to do this, but I'm compelled to ask you to go one more time back to the question about Congresswoman Walorski.
I'm not sure why. Why one more time?
Frankly, honestly, I think the memory of the Congresswoman and history requires some clarity here. Can you explain where the mistake was made? Was the president confused? Was something written in the teleprompter that he didn't recognize? Can you just help us understand what happened?
I mean, you're jumping to a lot of conclusions. No, but you're.
Find out what happened here.
No, I hear you, Stephen. I'm answering the question. That you're jumping to a lot of conclusions. I just answered the question. If that had been the case, I would have stated that, right? I would clearly have stated what you just laid out. What I had said is that she was on top of mind.
Would you be prepared to release the prepared remarks that the president had in teleprompter just so we could understand?
I'm not understanding why that would be necessary. We always share the remarks that the president had, even delivered. That's probably going to be up on the website. Not really sure what that has to do with anything. I just answered the question about her being on top of mind. I don't think that's unusual. I feel like many of us have gone through that particular time where someone is on top of mind and you call them out.
And I think we all totally get why she's top of mind. You've made that case pretty effectively. But I think the confusing part is why, if she and the family is top of mind, does the president think that she's living and in the room?
I don't find that confusing. I mean, I think many people can speak to sometimes when you have someone top of mind, they're a top of mind, exactly that. That is not an unusual scenario there.
Karine, I have John Lennon top of mind just about every day, but I'm not looking around for him anywhere.
When you sign a bill for John Lennon as president, then we can have this conversation.
Are you kidding me? Honestly. Are you joking? I've seen a lot of bullshit from that lectern. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. The gaslighting, the assumption that the reporters in the room are stupid, the people watching at home are stupid. And I was really proud of the press corps because after she blew off that question for a second time with a completely ridiculous answer that no one in the world would buy, they went after her.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
These moments of confusion are happening with increased frequency.
Go ahead.
Excuse me, there are Americans are watching this and are having concerns. What do you say to that? This is a legitimate question. We need to have some answers.
At the end of the year, what can you tell us about
I'm
that?
sorry, somebody was yelling over you, so go ahead.
There are reports that Treasury Secretary Yellen is looking to leave.
It is not
the
your turn to
administration.
speak, and you're being rude to your colleagues, and let your colleague answer the question. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you're yelling and over your colleague. So that is incredibly rude.
And you hear one of the reporters asking, why not just apologize? It couldn't believe the way that she was trying to spin this. Why not just apologize, he's saying. And you have another reporter that you can hear kind of shouting, these mental lapses are happening with increased frequency. And for Karine Jean-Pierre, the level of disrespect. And you talk about, Democrats, how they think Republicans are the party of lies, because they've embraced the big lie of, a stolen election. And you give an answer like that to a question that should be a no-brainer to say the president misspoke and he apologizes to the family. And a good point that was brought up on the live Q&A last night with subscribers is, how are Americans supposed to believe anything that is said from that dais moving forward? If you can't be straightforward about something that's so obvious, if you have to bullshit to that extent, or if you choose to bullshit to that extent, why should Americans believe anything that she says ever again? I wouldn't. Certainly the media in the room has lost its patience with her, which should have happened a long time ago. This goes beyond just being bad at her job, which she is bad at her job. This is gaslighting to the extreme. And I've said this a million times on the local level. She's paid with taxpayer money. The taxpayers of this country pay her to stand up at that microphone and spew absolute nonsense. No one should be okay with that. I mean, the level of arrogance and deceit. I don't even know what to say about it. She should be fired. I mean, they won't fire her because she's doing exactly what the administration wants her to do. I mean, we talked on the podcast a few days ago about how Jen Psaki, she stepped down from this role and then she moves over to MSNBC and all of a sudden she's talking poorly about President Biden, the president she was a mouthpiece for at all costs just a couple months prior. She was saying on MSNBC how if the election comes down to a referendum on the president, that Democrats will lose. So essentially saying that she doesn't think the president is doing very well when she backed up every single thing the president did. So Karine Jean-Pierre, I don't even know where to go with that. Every single person in the country who was watching that should be disgusted by it. And again, I feel so bad for the late Congresswoman's family, who not only had to watch the president call out for her in a room, which you could have forgiven had he apologized, but then had to watch the White House press secretary gaslight the public into thinking that the Congresswoman was just top of mind, that he wasn't truly calling out for her in the room. Shame on these people. Shame on all of these people in that administration who are okay with putting this message forward to the public.